energy, money, are resources that we tend to put in the wrong places. We tend to focus on the things that matter little, really, to mask our inability to deal with the things that matter most.
Elaborate on that.
I know,
one.
and that's a hard thing to swallow for most people.
Yes.
We tend to, harp on the negative. We tend to make excuses for things. We tend to put a lot of energy. For instance, if you want to get wealthy, you can't put a lot of energy into your job.
Thank you.
It's contradictory, And when we think about the amount of time we expend, it takes you an hour perhaps to prepare in the morning. It takes you perhaps an hour to travel to the job. You spend 8 hours on the job. Take you an hour to get home, an hour to drain off. And if you have a family, it's going to take you a couple more hours. And then you don't have enough time in your mind to spend on your goal or your idea to make money. And so you say, I'm going to put it off until the weekend. Then the weekend comes and you realize you got laundry and you got all these other things that need to get done, shopping that need to get done. And so you tend to spend an hour or two, maybe 3, 4 hours most, on developing your wealth because you didn't know what to do and you didn't know where to put your time, energy, and resources. And you spent 40 hours minimally, 50, 60 hours on a job that you don't want to be on. Most of the time, I say people go through life in a series of accidents because they don't plan it. I have people say, "Oh, you're so lucky you were able." I'm not lucky. I was able to leave my job. I had an exit strategy. I hear people. I say, "Well, what's your exit strategy? How are you getting out of the job?" Well, how'd you get the job? Well, I kind of stumbled on this job because I needed a job. Okay, so you got the job by accident. Okay, you don't know how long you're going to stay there because you don't know how you're going to get out. So if you get out, it'll be by accident. So if you make money, it's going to be by accident. You can't get wealthy by accident. It takes planning and it takes action, on that plan to make things happen. And so when you don't focus your time and energy on creating a plan, not a plan in your head, because a plan in your head is not going to get you there. When you take the time to really create a plan of action for yourself, and that's based upon research and analysis of the market, and we don't tend to do that. We come up with this idea and we wonder if people are going to pay for it. You don't come up with a product or service and then try to find somebody to sell it to later. That's backwards. That's backwards thinking. If you give the market exactly what it wants, you will always make money. And again, with the innovations in technology, there's no excuse for not knowing what the market wants. A lot of people are tweeting on Twitter. Well, it's what you tweet on Twitter that becomes important. If you're tweeting on Twitter, I'm going to the store now, then it's a waste of Twitter. But if you have access to thousands upon thousands of people in a particular age range, a particular demographic, and you tweet on Twitter and ask them the things that they want, how they want to receive it, and how much they're willing to pay for it, now you've got market research in real time. In an instant, people will respond to you, and you have information in real time, and you know whether or not your idea makes sense. You can do the same thing on Facebook. You can do the same thing on Craigslist, on MySpace. All these things that we use as social networks just to socialize.
Thank you.
You can use that same technology to gather information in real time, where it would cost you thousands of dollars and take you weeks and weeks of time to use a market research company before. You can do it for free in an instant. And they'll tell you exactly what they want. And if you give people what they want, you'll always be able to eat.
Yes.
And so you have that ability. You have the ability, again, to reach places around the world where before you needed a landline, you can get on a cell phone now. There are remote places, and I have a store in Africa, and there are not a lot of landlines in some of the places I go in Africa, but everybody has a cell phone.
Wow.
So now if I have an issue or my shopkeeper has an issue, he gets on the cell phone, he calls me, and in an instant we're connected. You can do the same thing with the internet, with email. You can do the same thing with instant messaging. You can do the same thing. Technology has given us the ability to reach marketplaces and suppliers where we couldn't before. Money is wired from one place to another in an instant. It's a press of a button. So you can send money to some place and get things paid for. With jet transportation, you can have things shipped to you overnight. You need something done or shipped overnight, it can be at your door the next day. And so there's really no excuse for us not to be able to create. And one thing